All right, so shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I'm gonna start off by saying Barakatham, Yahweh Bashin Hawashah, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Hawashah, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Hawashah. I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Hawashah, Bahashem Kakadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and shout out to the whole elect, starting with the 144,000. Shalom. All right, so Lord willing, right? Through the spirit, as soon as I did a little worked out earlier, and and I'm heading to do a sit down with the brothers. Usually do camp today, but we did camp yesterday, so we're gonna do a sit down today. And Lord willing, right? As I'm listening to, I listened to Elder Apostle, Elder Apostle Tahar. He doing the breaking news lessons. Iran bombed. Let me see if I can type it in on. Cause I'm gonna do it from my other phone real fast. It was something like it's called like IV, something like that. Let's see if it get. Oh yeah. Let's see. Iran bombs. Matter of fact, I'm gonna just go to YouTube, right? Bear with me. It says Iran strikes Central Tel Aviv with drones. So we'll type it. Right. So, yeah. So it's breaking news. You type it in. Iran bombs Tel Aviv with back-to-back missiles. Right. So ultimately, things are ramping up. Things are getting out of hand. Title. Even the elder Pastor Hart quoted. He said the flock should draw them out. These Israel with those fake Jews in our land, they done draw America out into the war. Those Amaleks, man, draw America out into the war. Now things are ramping up. The Yahweh Bashin Hawashah is pushing prophecy at a high pace. But all I wanted to go to, is as I cut on, and I listened to that, and I cut on Elder Apostle Aramla lesson. And he did it yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. Bear with me. Yeah, he did it yesterday. In his title, May We Live in Interesting Times. And when he first cut on, he's just going into, he hit me in the spirit as soon as I cut on. He going into basically how, how we don't went into this before, but how Esau controlled the narrative, about how they, when you search answers of things, you search things up in a sense, right? They control the outcome or outlook, right? I remember think of Job 13:4. They dumb down the people to making them believing like they're always right with things. Like you search on Google, the answer's gonna come up to what they want you to know, in a sense, certain things, right? But ultimately, in these last days, man, I'm tired of this lesson. It's gonna be real quick, Lord willing, through the spirit, right? Faith is at an all-time high. Faith at an all-time high, because that's how it gotta be in these last days, right? Because ultimately, Yahweh Bashin Hawashah, he brought the word, right? Yahweh brought the word, right? Let's go to that, what says that? John 12:46. Yeah, right? It's John 12, I start verse 44. It says, Yahweh cried and said, he that believeth on me, believeth not on me, it's like he that believeth on me, believeth not on me, but on him that sent me. He that seeth me, seeth him that sent me. I come a light. That light is the knowledge, understand me, how about Shah. He said, I come a light into the world, whosoever believeth on me should not abide in darkness, right? Because you gotta know, right? Let's see, let's go here first. Let's pulling this little bit at count yesterday, but it says first Thessalonians 5:3, for when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them as travail upon a woman, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. But ye, brethren, are not in darkness, they shall overtake you as a thief. You are all the children of light and the children of the day. We're not of darkness, we're not of night nor of darkness. So we're the children of the light. We have the knowledge, understanding how Bashin Hawashah. How do you get through darkness? By shining light on it. How we understand these dark sayings, these dark parables, these dark sayings and parables Hawashah has spoken, because we have the light. We have the light. It's like if we're in a dark tunnel, we Yahweh gave us a light to keep on this narrow passage to get through. But ultimately, you got to have faith to understand. You got to have faith to be able to keep going and hang on. Because in these last days, right, another precept he brought out that made me want to go into this as well is 2 Timothy, or might be 1 Timothy, and I bring it out just for the sense, just quoting it. So it's 2 Timothy 3. 2 Timothy 3 and 1, it says this, know also that in the last days, perilous times should come. What that meaning? In the last days, dangerous time gonna come. We, like Elder Apostle Roman speaking on, we in those times now, which they're going to get worse and worse. So if you ain't got the faith of Yahweh Shai, then you're cooked. Because Yahweh brought the message, he brought the word unto us, right? Remember, this faith is a gift to have. Because ultimately, keeping this faith until the end, 1 Peter 1 and 9, that's going to bring us to our deliverance. The ones, you will have ones who in the faith now who going to lose faith. Your faith got to be at all time. You got to know, because things going to start, the famine's going to start hitting, war's going to start hitting, things that such, right? What Trump say? Trump say, I seen a little sense on social, I've been seeing it on social media, they asking Trump, is it going to be wars on American soil, right? He telling them, hey, some people going to die. But you got to have faith to understand that we're protected in the scripture power of Yahweh Shai, right? So I want to read this real fast, Luke 6, right? And I started at verse 46, right? It's actually verse 45. It says, a good person produces good things from the treasury of a good heart. The heart goes to mind. And an evil person produces evil things from the treasury of an evil heart. What you say flows from what is in your heart, building on a solid foundation, right? You understand that foundation is what? The faith is knowledge, understanding this truth, right? Which Yahweh brought it to us. I come light into the world, right? So let's continue reading. As it says, so why do you keep calling me Lord, Lord, when you don't do what I say, right? It says, I will show you what it's like when someone comes to me, listens to my teaching, then follow it, right? Because that's the faith. You got to have faith in Yahweh Shai to trust in him. Remember he told them people, and he told the disciples, right, when he's beating up to chariots, wait for the promise. Wait for the promise. What does James chapter 1 say? Faith, patience, work of faith. You got to have patience. You got to be patient, right? We got to wait, and we know through the scripts that we're told that we're going to go through perilous, dangerous times. We're told we're going to go through harsh times, but you got to have faith in Yahweh Shai that he's going to bring us through. Faith is at an all-time. Faith got to be at an all-time high right now, right? It says it is like a person building a house who digs deep and lays the foundation on a solid rock. His faith is not understanding this truth. When the flood waters rise and break against that house, right? When you understand in the sense, Esau, Edom coming crazy, tribulation coming crazy, temptation coming crazy, dangers coming crazy, right? When all these things, these persecution, all these things come up against you, have you built your house upon a solid rock? What is that? Isaiah 33 and 6. What has been knowledge and stability of thy times? Did you build your house upon a solid rock? Did you build upon faith, right? To withstand, to hang on when they mandate that MOTB chip and we ain't 8 in days, right? Things of that such, right? Because we in those times now, man, right? It says when the flood waters rise and break against that house, it stands firm because it was well built. But anyone hears and doesn't obey is like a person who builds a house right on the ground without a foundation. And when you understand that true foundation is what? The beginning of the foundation is the names. We have the names, right? What is that? Proverbs 18:10 or 10:18. The name of the Lord is a strong tower. He run into it, dwell safely, merely paraphrasing, right? It says when the flood sweep down against that house, it will collapse until he ruins. Because why? They ain't built on the foundation. They ain't built on the faith and knowledge to understand Yahweh Shai. So when tribulation hit, when hard times hit, they hurting, they cook. They don't know what to do. They can't get away, because they not built on the faith of Yahweh Shai. They ain't built on the faith and knowledge to understand Yahweh Shai. Well, I'm gonna grab it real quick. That wisdom and knowledge to be the ability in our times. We're going to grab that, actually, because I quoted it, but we'll grab it. Let's see. Bear with me. Right? Let's grab that real quick. Isaiah 33 and 6 says, and wisdom and knowledge shall be stability of thy times, and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure. Because understand the beginning of knowledge and wisdom is what? The fear of the Lord. So when you fear the Lord, Yahweh Shai, you're going to gain knowledge and wisdom. You're going to understand his judgment. You're going to understand knowledge. You're going to understand, his plan that he's revealing unto us. No, ultimately, he giving us the he set the blueprint. He giving us the blueprint to how to overcome and beat death and overcome this beast, this devil, man. Right? But it begins with faith, right? It's begin with faith and believing. Do you hearing the word, but do you believe in it? Right? That's why Paul said this by the fact. In Hebrews, it's like not Paul said it, but in Hebrews, right? But in Hebrews 2, right, and 4, on the account, I won't say Paul didn't write it, but at this time, Lord willing, I ain't gonna say who did. I'll study on it more to he'll account. Paul, right? Yeah, Paul had to write these, right? But in a sense, right, it's Hebrews 2 and 4. Come on, right? It's Hebrews 2 and 4, right? It says, bear with me. I actually searched it up. I searched who wrote Hebrews. Right, let's see what it says. The author of the book of the Hebrews is officially unknown, as the text does not identify his writer, while traditionally attributed to the Apostle Paul. Modern scholars largely dispute this due to, Lord willing, I'm pretty sure Lord willing, the Spirit will reveal it to us, Lord willing. But we ain't gonna, I don't want to quote it wrong or say the wrong thing, right? You know, but if I'm not mistaken, Paul did write Hebrews, but Lord willing, you know, the brothers can correct me when they see this lesson if I'm wrong or right? But Lord willing, through understanding, we'll read this scripture, right? Hebrews 4, right? Hebrews 4 and verse 2, right? It says, for unto us was the gospel. Matter of fact, read verse 1. It says, let us therefore fear, lest the promise being left us of entering into his rest, any of you should seem to come short. Because a lot of people gonna fall. A lot of people not gonna make it. Because why? He said, for unto us was the gospel preached, as well as to them. Because the word is out here. They heard the word. They hear the word, right? But the word preached did not profit them. Why not? Not being mixed with faith in them that heard it. So faith got to be at all-time high. You got to have faith in his word and not understand how by shot. You know, because in these times, the way tribulation and pain and suffering finna hit, in this time with war, famines, all these things. Remember the scripture, Yahushua said what? These are, in Matthew 24, these are the beginning sorrows. And all these things hit. You got to have faith to understand that you're going to overcome. You got to have faith to understand that we're going to get through. You got to have faith to understand Yahushua is going to protect us and he's going to fight for us. You know, if you ain't got no faith, you're cooked, man. And you're going to have a lot of people who turn to faith. You got a lot of people who in these last days depart from the faith. Matter of fact, because when these tribulations hit too hard, they ain't going to be able to hang on when we ain't going to be able to eat for days or things of that such, right? I think that's 1 Timothy 4:1. I know for surely Paul write this letter to Timothy, right? He write this letter to Timothy, right? But right here, it's 1 Timothy 4:1. It says, now the Spirit speaks expressly that in the latter times some shall depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils. They're going to depart from the faith, right? Because when these times hit, when these hard times hit, they ain't going to be able to hang on. Why? Because they ain't his word. They wasn't mixed with faith with them. See, they was hanging on because it was, you know, they was in it for clout. They was in it for the fame. They was in it for, you know, any other reason, but truly built off sincerity and faith of Yahushua, man. And it's going to show during these times, you know. If your faith in an all-time high in the spirit of power Yahushua, then, hey, you're going to fall off, right? Hebrews 11:1. Now, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen, right? For by it, the elders obtained a good report. Through faith, we understand that the worlds were framed by the word of Yahweh, so that things which are seen were not made of things which do appear, right? I'm really just jump down to verse 6. It said, but without faith, it is impossible to please him. For he that cometh to Yahweh must believe that he is. That's the thing. You got to believe that Yahweh Yahushua is. You got to believe. You got to understand. You got to believe in the promise. You got to believe that he's going to deliver us. You got to. That's why. Matter of fact, we're gonna come back to that. That's why Paul said in Romans, right? Romans 15:4. For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. Because why do you hope for things that you see? We hoping, right? These things are written because it's prophecy given it to us, right? Showing us that, hey, all these things gonna come to pass unto you, and then the kingdom's gonna come, right? So if you ain't got the faith to understand that when these things come, the kingdom's gonna come, then you ain't gonna be able to hang on. You gonna fall off. You ain't gonna finish the race, man. You gonna be right there. We right there at the finish line, and you gonna fall off. You gonna fall away. You too tired. You can't finish. You want to back out. Nah, we right here. No faith to be boosted up right now. Faith should be at an all-time high right now, man. Right? Let's see. I'm gonna quit precept. I see the brothers here, so we'll get into it. I'm gonna quit precept. What I want to go. Oh yeah, I'm gonna finish this off real quick. But without faith, it is impossible to please him. For he that cometh to Yahweh must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him. Right? That diligently seek him. And real quick, so I close it out. I don't want to make this no long one. This is the book of Sirach 2, right? And starting verse 8, it says, Ye that fear the Lord, believe him, your reward shall not fail. Ye that fear the Lord, hope for good, and for everlasting joy and mercy. Look at the generations of old and see did ever any trust in the Lord? Did they ever have faith in the Lord and was confounded? Did anybody else trust in the Lord and was overcome? No. It says, did any abide in his fear and was forsaken? Of whom did he ever despise that called upon him? So when you keep that faith until the end, you're going to be saved, man. Faith got to be at the all-time high right now, because the devil come with great wrath, knowing he got no more short time. Times will come. The third wall's coming quickly. You can see the times that we in. So that faith should be boosted up, because these are the signs. These are faith boosters, man. So faith should be at the all-time high right now. Keep it strong and stand in the faith. How about how shy and waiting for the promise, right? So that being said, Lord willing, right? I hope the lesson is edifying and exalting, right? I want to give honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shah, Bahashem Kakadash. I want to give honors to the apostles, double honors to the apostles, elders of Great Millstone, and shout out to the whole few elect, starting with the 144,000.